Hello, my dear friends. Today, I am excited to share the inspiring and deeply impactful life story of one of history's most revered figures, Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. His life was a testament to perseverance, humility, and unwavering dedication to principles that shaped not only his nation, but the world. Let's begin this journey with the roots of his humble beginnings, his trials, his monumental achievements, and his legacy that continues to inspire generations. Early life and humble beginnings. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in a one-room log cabin in Hardin County, Kentucky, modern-day LaRue County. His parents, Thomas Lincoln and Nancy Hanks Lincoln, were of modest means. The family lived a hard frontier life, moving frequently in search of better opportunities. Lincoln's early life was marked by hardships. When he was just 9 years old, his mother died of milk sickness, leaving a profound impact on young Abraham. His father remarried a kind and nurturing woman, Sarah Bush Johnston, who encouraged young Lincoln's love for learning. Despite limited access to formal education, Lincoln developed an insatiable thirst for knowledge. He attended school sporadically, amounting to less than a year of formal education. However, he taught himself by borrowing books and reading extensively. Among his favorites were the Bible, Aesop's Fables, and Shakespeare. Adulthood and early career. As a young man, Lincoln worked a variety of jobs to support himself and his family. He labored as a farmhand, a rail splitter, and a store clerk. In 1830, the Lincoln family moved to Illinois, where Abraham began to forge his path in the world. In his early 20s, Lincoln began studying law, driven by a desire to make something of himself. With no formal legal education, he borrowed books and learned independently. His perseverance paid off, and he passed the bar exam in 1836, becoming a lawyer. He quickly gained a reputation for his honesty, earning him the nickname Honest Abe. Political beginnings. Lincoln's political career began in 1834 when he was elected to the Illinois state legislature as a member of the Whig Party. During this time, he developed strong convictions about issues like slavery and economic development. In 1842, Lincoln married Mary Todd, a well-educated and politically astute woman from a prominent Kentucky family. Their marriage was marked by both profound love and challenges, including the loss of 3 of their 4 sons during Lincoln's lifetime. Rising to national prominence. By the 1850s, the issue of slavery was deeply dividing the nation. Lincoln, who had long opposed the expansion of slavery, re-entered politics. In 1854, he became a vocal opponent of the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which allowed territories to decide the issue of slavery for themselves. In 1858, Lincoln gained national attention during his debates with Stephen A. Douglas in their campaign for a U.S. Senate seat. Although Lincoln lost the election, his eloquence and moral clarity established him as a leading figure in the emerging Republican Party. Presidency and the Civil War. In 1860, Lincoln was elected the 16th President of the United States, winning with significant support from the northern states. His election triggered a crisis as southern states, fearing the abolition of slavery, began to secede from the Union. By the time Lincoln took office in March 1861, the country was on the brink of civil war. The Civil War began in April 1861, and Lincoln faced the monumental challenge of preserving the Union. He demonstrated extraordinary leadership, balancing political, military, and moral pressures. One of his most significant acts was issuing the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, which declared freedom for enslaved people in Confederate-held territories. This bold step redefined the war as a fight for human liberty. The Gettysburg Address. In November 1863, Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address, a short but profound speech at the dedication of a cemetery for soldiers killed in the Battle of Gettysburg. In just 272 words, Lincoln reaffirmed the principles of equality and democracy, declaring that the nation must have a new birth of freedom and government of the people, by the people, for the people. Assassination and legacy. Lincoln was re-elected in 1864, but his second term was tragically cut short. On April 14, 1865, just days after the Union's victory in the Civil War, Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth while attending a play at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. He died the following morning, leaving the nation in mourning. Despite his untimely death, Lincoln's legacy endures. He is remembered as a leader who navigated one of the darkest periods in American history with courage and compassion. His efforts to end slavery and preserve the Union fundamentally transformed the nation. Lincoln's personal qualities. Abraham Lincoln's story is as much about his personal qualities as it is about his political achievements. One of his defining traits was his empathy. Lincoln had an exceptional ability to understand the struggles of others, perhaps because of the hardships he faced in his own life. This empathy guided his leadership style, making him a president who could connect with ordinary people. He was also known for his humility. Despite rising to the highest office in the land, Lincoln remained grounded. He often credited others for successes and took personal responsibility for failures. His humility endeared him to those who worked with him and strengthened his ability to lead during a deeply divided time. Lincoln's sense of humor is another lesser-known aspect of his personality. He loved telling stories and anecdotes to lighten tense moments. Even during the Civil War, he used humor to ease the burden of stress, both for himself and those around him. His wit, combined with his sharp intellect, made him a charismatic leader. Lincoln's struggles with mental health. While he is often remembered for his strength and resilience, Lincoln also battled periods of melancholy, which today might be classified as depression. He endured significant personal losses, including the deaths of his mother, his sister, and 3 of his children. These tragedies left deep emotional scars. However, Lincoln's struggles with mental health never defined him. Instead, they shaped his profound sense of compassion and determination. He found solace in reading, writing, and focusing on his goals. His life reminds us that even the greatest leaders face inner battles and that perseverance through such challenges can lead to greatness. The 13th Amendment. One of Lincoln's crowning achievements was his role in the passage of the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which abolished slavery. Though the Emancipation Proclamation was a pivotal step, it was a wartime measure, and did not end slavery entirely. Lincoln worked tirelessly to ensure that slavery was permanently outlawed through constitutional means. In early 1865, he used his political acumen to garner support for the amendment, convincing reluctant members of Congress to vote in favor. The 13th Amendment was passed on January 31, 1865, and ratified later that year, cementing Lincoln's legacy as a champion of freedom and equality. The Lincoln family legacy. Lincoln's family life was a mix of joy and sorrow. He and Mary Todd Lincoln had 4 sons: Robert Todd Lincoln, Edward Baker Lincoln, William Wallace Lincoln, and Thomas Tad Lincoln. Only Robert survived to adulthood. The loss of his children, particularly Willie, in 1862, devastated both Abraham and Mary. Mary Todd Lincoln faced criticism during her time in the White House, often for her spending habits and emotional struggles. Despite the challenges, she supported her husband through the immense pressures of his presidency. After Lincoln's assassination, Mary's life was marked by grief and financial difficulties. Robert, their eldest son, went on to have a successful career as a lawyer and statesman, serving as U.S. Secretary of War and Ambassador to the United Kingdom. The Lincoln family's story reflects the enduring impact of Abraham's legacy, both publicly and privately. The Lincoln Memorial. In 1922, the Lincoln Memorial was dedicated in Washington, D.C., as a tribute to his enduring legacy. The imposing structure, featuring a seated statue of Lincoln and inscriptions of his most famous speeches, has become a symbol of unity and justice. Millions visit the memorial each year to reflect on his life and the ideals he championed. Lessons from Lincoln's life. Lincoln's journey from a log cabin to the White House embodies the idea of the American dream. He showed that through hard work, determination, and a commitment to justice, it is possible to overcome even the greatest obstacles. Here are a few key lessons we can take from his life. Resilience in the face of adversity. Lincoln faced countless personal and professional setbacks, yet he never gave up on his goals. The power of empathy. His ability to understand and address the struggles of others made him a leader who was loved and respected. The importance of education and self-improvement. Despite minimal formal schooling, Lincoln's dedication to learning helped him achieve greatness, standing firm on principles. Even when faced with intense opposition, Lincoln remained steadfast in his belief in equality and the preservation of the Union. The global influence of Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln's legacy transcends the borders of the United States. His principles of liberty, equality, and democracy have inspired countless movements for freedom and human rights around the world. Leaders such as Mahatma Gandhi in India and Nelson Mandela in South Africa cited Lincoln as a source of inspiration in their struggles for justice and equality. Lincoln's fight against slavery and his belief in the intrinsic value of human life resonate in nations that have faced oppression. His words and actions remind us that the fight for justice is universal and that moral leadership can transform societies. Lincoln's contributions to modern governance. Lincoln's leadership style set a precedent for modern governance. He exemplified the importance of compromise without sacrificing core values. During the Civil War, Lincoln worked with a diverse and often divided cabinet, including rivals and individuals with differing ideologies. His ability to bring people together for the greater good demonstrated the importance of collaboration in leadership. He also established practices that strengthened the federal government, such as the creation of the national banking system and the issuance of a national currency. These measures helped stabilize the economy during the war and laid the foundation for a stronger post-war United States. Lincoln's love for the common people. Throughout his life, Lincoln remained deeply connected to ordinary citizens. He believed in the dignity of honest work and the value of every individual, regardless of their background. His personal motto could be summarized in his words, "I am a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts." This belief in the power of the people fueled his decisions and policies. Even as president, he would visit hospitals to comfort wounded soldiers, correspond with grieving families, and make himself accessible to the public. The myth and the man. Over the years, Abraham Lincoln has become a near-mythical figure. His story of rising from poverty to the presidency, his eloquence, and his martyrdom have made him a symbol of hope and resilience. However, it's important to remember the man behind the legend. Lincoln was not without flaws. He made difficult decisions during the Civil War, such as suspending habeas corpus, which drew criticism for overstepping constitutional boundaries. He also faced challenges in uniting his cabinet and navigating political opposition. Yet, these imperfections humanize him and show that even the greatest leaders face complex moral dilemmas. Ongoing relevance of Lincoln's vision. Lincoln's vision of a united, free nation is as relevant today as it was during his time. His commitment to equality, his belief in democracy, and his dedication to justice serve as guiding principles for addressing modern challenges. Whether it's promoting racial equality, fostering unity in diversity, or protecting democratic institutions, Lincoln's legacy offers lessons for the present and the future. His words, "Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves," remind us of the enduring need to fight against oppression and injustice. His life challenges us to strive for a better world, no matter how difficult the path may seem. Closing reflection. Abraham Lincoln's life story is more than a tale of a man who rose to greatness. It is a reminder of the transformative power of character, determination, and vision. From his humble beginnings in Kentucky to his historic leadership during America's darkest hours, Lincoln showed that one person can make an extraordinary difference. As we reflect on his legacy, let us be inspired by his example to pursue our own goals with courage and integrity. Whether we face personal challenges or strive to contribute to our communities, Lincoln's life reminds us that greatness lies not in avoiding hardship, but in rising above it. In the words of Lincoln himself, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." Thank you for accompanying me on this journey through the remarkable life of Abraham Lincoln. May his story inspire us to embrace hope, pursue justice, and live with purpose.